Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You're listening to That Infernal Noise, now part of the Mental Health News Radio Network. Now on to the show.
Today's the first day I'm actually recording at my desk. Every other time I've been recording like independently or just like in my bedroom or something like that. But I figured I need to take this a little bit more seriously. Not that I don't take it seriously. It is serious to me. But I let a lot of other stuff get in the way constantly. Past couple of weeks haven't been great mentally for me. I realized I'm borderline suicidal, manic depressive. I thought I was bipolar before, but I realized looking into everything that it's more manic depressive, just based on my personality and the way the shifts happened and all that stuff. It's more manic depressive. I have PTSD, and I'm still trying to figure out how to deal with all of it. I think I took a step in the right direction on Friday. Things have been happening, and it seems like it's one thing after another. It gets so overwhelming, especially for somebody who's lived their entire life in chaos and is actively trying to avoid it as much as possible. And it just seems like one thing after another. The hits keep coming. And I just randomly text my sister. She was on the same group message that I was. And I just told her I loved her. I was like, I love you and I appreciate you and whatever. And she felt the need to text me back and said I love you more, and we had a little bit of a conversation, and then she sends a follow-up text and it's like, I don't know why I feel the need to say this, but don't do anything stupid. I'm paraphrasing, but that was the gist of it. And I realized she's way more intuitive and smart than I give her credit for. Because I like to think I am, and I am for the most part. But she doesn't exactly show that side of herself a whole lot. She kind of plays it close to the chest, which I can understand as well. And it just kind of broke my heart that she could see through it. And it broke my heart for a myriad of reasons. Because she and I don't talk that much. Not as much as I would like. But that's by design. She's got her own life. And I know how I am in people's lives. I tend to try to micromanage it. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to project that on her. I want her to be her own person and raise her family how she sees fit and all that stuff. And I'm not saying she's doing a shitty job. That's not the situation at all. But just in general. But it also hurt because I've spent so much time taking care of everybody else. And not just in my adult life. I felt like I did that in my childhood as well. That I got used to people not paying attention to me. Not seeing the signs, not caring in my estimation. Even when it came to my wife. And this is not a shit on Nisha episode. I keep saying that. But it does hurt my feelings. She knows that. We've had conversations ad nauseum repeatedly over and over and over again about the shit. She didn't see how far gone I was until I pointed it out. And I'm like, I don't want to have to expressly say everything that's on my mind. I want somebody to know. And I know that's presumptuous of me, and I know that that's sort of setting people up for failure. I'm aware of that. Not exactly thrilled about it, but at the same time, why do I have to be so in tune with everybody's feelings and emotions, and nobody has to be in tune with mine? Nobody has to see it coming. Nobody has to actively try to make sure that I'm all right. And in the last blow-up Nisha and I had, well, it wasn't really a blow-up. It was what I wanted, kind of. It was her coming to the realization of the damage that she's done to me. You know, it's like the thing that I've spent so much time arguing and trying to get my point across, trying to get her to understand things from my perspective. Like, it finally clicked for her. I don't know why, it just did. And she was happy about it. She had a smile on her face. And it broke me. It broke me not because she finally got it. It broke me because I feel like I've spent the better part of a decade trying to explain my wants and my needs and my desires. And she just woke up one morning and got it. Not all the tears, all of the anguish, all of the yelling matches, everything. None of that sunk in, but she just got it one day. And I am thankful for that. But it was a kick in the teeth as well. For somebody that spends so much time trying to express themselves verbally and make sure that everybody understands how I feel about certain situations. That way it's never going to be said again that I'm a liar or that I hid something or whatever, because I'm not doing that. I'm very hard on my sleeve, as any of my friends will tell you. So it felt like a disrespect. Not in the aspect that she was getting it, because obviously that's the end game. That's what I wanted to happen. But in the aspect that I went through all of that. I begged and pleaded for so long for you to just understand where I'm coming from. Not look at it from your perspective. Look at it from my perspective. And, you know, women always say that they want somebody like me and somebody to just be clear and concise and not play games and whatever. And for the first time in my life with somebody, I have been that since day one. There was no games, there was no lying, there was no manipulation, nothing. And what really broke me, outside of that, was Noe. She's fucking 10. And Nisha and I, of course, are arguing again. And I'm standing in the doorway of our bedroom. The little one's bedroom is right by ours. And I see Noe just walk out of her room. And I think she goes into Chris's room, watching South Park, whatever the fuck they were doing. I don't know. And in the process of that, she writes a letter to me and Niche. And just saying, I'm tired of the fighting. I'm tired of you two constantly arguing. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't like being around it. And other stuff. And when I say I have never felt that kind of pain in my life, which is saying something, I'm not lying. Because in that moment I realized I was doing to her what was done to me. As long and as hard as I have fought to prevent that from happening, it ended up happening anyway. And it made me feel completely inadequate as a father, as a provider, as a protector. All of it. And I don't know how to deal with it. I've never felt so hopeless in my entire fucking life. And again, that's saying something. I chose to record out here at my desk because it's in the living room, and the reason I put my desk here is because it's right in front of the wall of pictures, the family pictures. It's mostly the kids. There's a couple of Niche and I, but it's mostly the kids. And it makes me happy. It makes me realize why I deal with the shit that I deal with on a daily basis from everything and everybody. It makes me understand why I still hang on. And the main reason I hang on is because I don't want them growing up without a father. Or let me rephrase that. They would still have a father without their biological father. Because I know what questions that raises. Why wasn't I good enough? Why didn't I matter enough for him to stay? And I can only imagine that it would compound that if I off myself. But I would be lying if I said that thought hasn't crossed my mind more than once. Because after 37 fucking years of just a nightmare shit show, in my estimation, and not just the shit that I've been through, but everything that plays in my head like a fucking loop every single goddamn day of my life. I'm tired of it. I'm exhausted. I'm so fucking exhausted. And whenever Nietzsche has what's wrong, that's what I say. I say I'm exhausted. Yeah, it's fucking with my sleep pattern. So she automatically assumes it's that. Which is my intention. I don't want to start a goddamn conversation about it. But what I really mean is I'm exhausted of life. I'm tired of being the strong one. I'm tired of being the rock. I'm tired of being the one that keeps everybody together and keeps everybody happy and all that bullshit. All of it can fuck off. I'm tired of being the dependable worker, the one that works my fingers to the bone and nothing ever benefits me. I get no credit for it. Not that I necessarily want it, but just something where I feel like I'm not a fucking cog in a machine. And then at home, I feel like just the provider. Just the rock. Just the stable one. I can count on one hand how many times anybody's made me feel special in my life. Like, truly fucking special. Outside my kids. My kids have done it more. But I don't know how much of that is them and how much is that of somebody telling them to do it. And then that turns into a whole mind fuck in and of itself. And it's like I can't win. And I've told Niche that 100 fucking times. It's like, if this was a game, you explain to me how I'm winning. You explain to me how I'm ever able to win. And how everything isn't stacked the fuck against me and everybody's working against me. Because that's how it feels. Is that necessarily the case? Probably not. Because I'd have to be really self-centered to think that the entire world revolves around me and that everybody's out to get me. even though I know people that think like that. The term I use to describe how I feel whenever I was talking to my sister on Friday was defeated. I'm just defeated by everything right now. And whenever you feel like the one person that should have your back is just now getting to the point where she wants to have your back, or however you want to describe that, it's so defeating. And I'm not holding it against her. I understand that she has her own shit that she's tried to deal with, and I have tried to be there every step of the way. I'm not always the most supportive person. I understand that. But us as men aren't supposed to show this side, aren't supposed to have emotions, aren't supposed to break down or admit that they break down or whatever, and fuck all that. I've had breakdowns since I was a child, and I had to hide them my entire life because suck it up, pussy, or oh, you're just being dramatic, or you're wearing your heart on your sleeve, or you're overly sensitive, or whatever other bullshit that literally everybody has told me my entire life. Yeah, maybe I am overly sensitive. Or maybe, just maybe, you're underly sensitive. Maybe you should have more emotion. Maybe everybody should have a level of empathy for people that are fucking struggling. And not just become automatically dismissive of it. And not just tell them to suck it up, pussy, because I've done that. I've done that to myself, and I've done that to my boys. I've done it to my girls, and I'm not doing it anymore. I snap off at Chris all the time because he's acting emo, and that's not fair to him because I don't know what the situation is. Granted, he's not talking to me about what the fucking situation is, but I can't do it. I would like him to talk about it so he doesn't end up turning more into me. And that in and of itself terrifies me. Because Nisha and I had that conversation the other day. It's like, I have fought so hard to make sure they did not grow up the same way I did. With all the trauma and all of the bad shit that shouldn't have happened. I've prided myself on being their protector and preventing them from having the same shady motherfuckers around them that I did, the same type of shady motherfuckers around them. I fought for that. I've told people I legitimately care about to fuck off. Or asked them to change, and nothing did. So I removed myself from the situation. But they still have trauma. They still have their insecurities and all of that stuff, and I can't judge it. Because as much as I've tried to mitigate the damage from myself and the people I have around them, they still have their own shit. And just because it's not quote unquote as bad as mine, that doesn't lessen it. That doesn't negate it. And if I do, then I'm doing the same thing that I felt like everybody's done to me my entire life. And I'm not doing that anymore. My kids are emotional, empathic, intuitive people. All four of them. And I know that's going to cause problems for them in the course of their life. Shit, it already has with the older two. But I'm not going to be the example of the Rock anymore. I'm not going to be the person that just sucks it up and is always stable, because that's a facade. I'm not the stable one. At any given time, whenever I look like I have everything on lock and everything's going right and I'm unwavering and just headstrong and all of that shit, those are the times that I'm usually breaking the most inside. And I act like I have everything under control, and it's a goddamn hurricane going on in my head. I tell Nisha all the time, it's the horror show. And it's just on constant repeat. It's Groundhog's Day. And the fucking irony of it is I was born on Groundhog's Day. I'm not a pussy. I'm not emo. I ain't a bitch because I have feelings. None of that shit. And I dare anybody to come say that to me now. Because I'm not that scared kid anymore. I'm the exact opposite. Going through all of this shit, having to feel every fucking thing without drugs, without alcohol, without even cigarettes or any fucking coping mechanism. It's been a nightmare. It has been a fucking nightmare. But I've felt all this stuff in a way that I haven't felt since I was a kid, because of having all of that removed from my life. I don't know if it's a good thing. I don't know if it's a bad thing. I can't say I removed everything, because I'm popping CBDs like they're fucking Skittles. And that does seem to help a little bit, because whenever I start the fucking spiral, I can't stay there, because if I stay there, it's gonna go way worse. So, pop a CBD gummy, move about my day. Well, this is a recent development, so we'll see how that works. I didn't really think toxic masculinity was a thing until recently, and thinking back on all of the shit that I've been told, all the times I've been told to quell myself, and that's not it, or you're wrong, or you're overreacting, or whatever. And sometimes, yeah, I do overreact, 100%, but I know the difference between an overreaction and me trying to express myself and trying to understand what's going on, or trying to get somebody to see my point. Just something as simple as that. I get passionate about it. I get emotional about it sometimes. 9 times out of 10, the emotion is not this. It's not the sappy. It's not tears in my eyes. It's not that. It's fucking angry, and it's fuck you, and I'll take your fucking head off. Because that's what I know. That's how I cope. That's how I turn all of my trauma and all of my pain and all of my everything into anger. I've worked very hard in the past 10 years since Nisha and I got together to limit that, to bring that down. And I think anybody that knows me, anybody with half a fucking brain, would see that I am not that same person anymore. Because my initial reaction would be, fuck you, fuck your mama, fuck 3 motherfuckers that look like you, we ain't doing this shit. I'm gonna fuck you up, and that's the end of the story. But that's not me anymore. I try to empathize with people, even people that irritate the fuck out of me. Whether or not that's smart, whether or not it's long-term beneficial to me, I don't know. Because I'm still on that journey. But I'm tired of not being me. I'm tired of acting like I don't have this and don't feel this and don't have the life that I do. I've put up blinders for so long with so many people pretending like everything has been okay for so fucking long. And it hasn't been. It never was to begin with. But I didn't have the same perception that I do now. My perception now is, fuck that. I don't need this. I don't need drama. I don't need bullshit. I don't need negativity. I don't need any of that. I got enough of it going on in my motherfucking head to deal with the external bullshit that somebody else is going to dump on me that has nothing to do with me. But I'm purposely putting myself in these situations where I'm just accepting of the fact that everybody's doing things that I don't like, and I'm just staying the fuck around it. Was. Past tense. And I'm not doing that anymore. People can call me stuck up. People can call me self-righteous. Honestly, anybody can say whatever the fuck they want at this point. I don't care. I used to. I pretended like I didn't care for so long, and I did. I 100% did. And everybody's opinion affected me so much. Strangers' opinions would affect me so much. And I am past that point in my fucking life. Whenever you suffer quietly for so long with nobody to help you, one of two things happens. In my opinion. You either break and you're gone, or you break and they're gone. And as I said before, I'm not doing that to my kids. I'm not bailing on them. I'll fucking bail on everybody else. I don't give a good goddamn. But I'm not bailing on them. I'm not bailing on my sister, or her family, or her kids, or my cousin, her kids, or my other cousins, or I'm not doing that. Because no, I don't know everybody's opinion of me. But I know my opinion of them. I know how much I care about them. And I won't let that be my legacy to them, or their kids, or their families, or whatever. So, that leaves the other option. The other option is, I'm going to have my fucking breakdowns. I'm going to deal with this shit. Really deal with it, not try to sweep it under the rug, or try to downplay it to make everybody else feel comfortable and all that bullshit. But I'm going to have these feelings. I'm going to express these feelings. And if anybody doesn't fucking like it, you know where the fucking door is. Because I don't need anybody in my life. I don't have to have anybody in my life. Biologically related, or friendship, or romantically, or whatever. I don't need it. If I feel like somebody's toxic, I'm out. Deuces. Peace. Don't worry about it. And if anybody ever feels like I'm the toxic one, by all motherfucking means, if you think you need to distance yourself from me because I'm draining to your mental health, go for it. And I'm not saying that to be a smartass. I'm not saying that because I want people to leave my life. I'm saying that because I have spent so much time not doing that. I know how it feels. Thinking you can't leave, thinking that you can't express yourself, thinking that you have to downplay yourself and change who you are in order to fit in with whoever the fuck it is. It's not real. It's not real. And I've had to tell myself that so much lately. What's real is what's right in front of me. My kids. My family. That's real. And I lose sight of that a lot because of all the other shit, because of all the other people, all the other stress, all the other anxiety. And I'm not doing it to myself or them anymore. And if anybody has a problem, please remove yourself from my fucking life. Because I'm tired of carrying all you motherfuckers. I am tired of pretending to give a shit about any of your dumb fucking problems that you think are so important that I have to change and curtail myself and change my mood to deal with your shit. If I was behaving toxically, if I was having the same behaviors that I used to once upon a time, and that was the conversation, that'd be a completely different one. But I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not changing my personality to fit your idea of what I'm supposed to be or how I'm supposed to act based on whatever criteria you've set in your head. And I know that makes me sound like a hypocrite based on everything I just said. Because I have expectations and yada, 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 whatever. But that's not the same thing. What I'm doing is I'm trying to look out for myself. And I know what I want to be around, what I want to do, what I want to accomplish, the goals I have, the things I want to look forward to. I know all of that. And there's only a handful of people that I care about seeing that journey with me. That doesn't include the people that live in my house. There's only a handful of people that I know that if I needed something, I could call. And they would legitimately drop everything for me. And it's not even the people that I thought it would be. One of them is. Well, no, I didn't even think he would. Or she. I'm speaking about my ex-wife and her husband. But it's them. It's one of my best friends in fucking California who I barely fucking talk to. I know he would drop everything and listen. I know my boss would listen. And as weird as that is to say, she's one of the few people I can fucking count on. I know my sister would. I know her husband would. There's people that shouldn't care that do. And there's so many people that should care that don't. Or didn't, or whatever. And I've taken a lot of the people that do for granted. Because I was pining over something I wanted, or somebody I wanted to care, or whatever. And I've done that my entire life. I try not to say that I have regrets because everything that's happened has put me exactly here, and overall, I love my life. I love my kids. I love my family. I should be exponentially happier than I am. And that's not any of their fault. That's my fault because I didn't address all this shit when I should have. As a kid growing up, at any point in my 20s, at any point in my 30s before now, any of it. And it's because I've been told that this shit's not real, you're making it up, it's not that serious, suck it up pussy, and whatever other stupid fucking douchebag cliches you can come up with. And I still see it online. And it's just like, fuck off. Fuck all the way off, sideways, and 3 times on Sunday. I don't give a fuck. You want to be like that? Fine. You want to perpetuate all of the stereotypical alpha male bullshit, which isn't real, by the way, because real alphas don't talk about it and don't act like it, but that's another story, then you perpetuate that shit. I'd rather be a good man. I'd rather tell my children what's real. What's real is we all have emotions. We all have breakdowns. We all have low points. It's just how you deal with it. And I thank my son for reminding me of that. Something I said to him actually sunk in. And he pointed it out the day before Father's Day, and it just... it resonated with me. So now what am I going to do? Am I going to continue to let that negative spiral continue? Or am I going to do something about it? This right here, what you're listening to right now, is me doing something about it. It's me putting it out here. It's me telling, look, I'm not perfect. I'm a goddamn nightmare to be with, around, whatever. Fine. I agree. But I'm also one of the most real and honest people you will ever meet in your entire life. And if that makes people uncomfortable, so be it. I don't care about hurting feelings or crossing boundaries or whatever. I can't, because I've done that for too long, and look where it's gotten me. I'm actively fighting to figure out the person that I am right now. And I'm slowly doing that because I've had to rewire 36, 37 years of bullshit. And that's why I've started this active journey toward mental health. And in doing so, I've found a community of people that I didn't know existed before all this. And they're helpful, and they're understanding, and they're empathetic, which is something I've been looking for my entire life, because where I grew up, there was not any empathy to be had. It was fuck you and fuck everybody else if you don't agree with me type shit. And there was absolute right and absolute wrong, and it's just... I never fit in with that. That never made sense to me. I've always thought different. Always. I had to pretend like I didn't. I convinced myself that I didn't for a very long time. I was like, no, I'm going to fit into this box. I'm going to be normal, and I'm going to have the... 3.5 kids and the white picket fence and yada, yada, yada. And I thought that was what you were supposed to fit into. It's like, fuck that. I don't want that. I never wanted that, really. I wanted kids. I absolutely wanted kids. There was never a time in my life where I didn't want kids. And back then, I wanted the jock, the head of the football team, the head cheerleader, the valedictorian. Like, I wanted all that shit. But I wanted that for me. I didn't want that for my kids. I wanted it for me so I could be like, look, I did it. I proved everybody wrong and yada, yada, yada. Fuck all that. Fuck it all sideways. I don't give a shit about that. My oldest doesn't want to go to college. So many people have been like, oh, well, they gotta go to college, blah, 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 blah. No, the fuck he doesn't. I didn't go to college. I'm doing just fine. He doesn't want to go to college because he doesn't want to go to college. He doesn't dig school. He thinks a lot like me and doesn't feel like that quantifies intelligence or anything. And I agree. So why would we force him to do something that he doesn't want to do? My oldest daughter, she is the exact opposite. She likes school. She wants to do well. She over-obsesses over everything. We let her do that. We bring her back down to reality whenever it needs to happen. She's not going to be the head cheerleader. She can't stand people like that. She can't stand the vapid assholes that are often associated with the head cheerleader. She's the one that will put them in their place if they step out of line with her. She doesn't give a fuck. She's very strong. She's very opinionated. She's everything that women are told that they don't need to be. And I could not be prouder of her. She's doing things the way that she wants to do, the same way Chris is. They have an idea for what they want for their life already. And they are being themselves, which is something we have told them since day one. Be true to yourself, be honest, be open. And don't let anybody, even me, or Niche, or Mandy, or Gabriel, even us, don't let us change your opinion of yourself or change what you think you need to do. Because we talk shit. We're a family of shit talkers. We always have been, always will be. So Chris dyes his hair blonde. Of course, all of us got something fucking smart to say. And it's not because we don't like it. It's not because we're trying to belittle him. It's just what we do. Not necessarily proud of it, but it's the way it works. But he's happy with it. So what do I have to be upset about? Kaylee's happy with who she is. She's happier now than she was whenever she was younger because she's gotten away from the cliquey shit and started hanging around people that she actually likes and started talking about things that she actually does. I started talking about things that she wants to talk about. Started doing things that she wants to do, like all the theater stuff. And that happened by a happy accident. And it ended up being the best thing for her. I try not to tell them not to feel the way they feel. I try not to tell them how to feel. Because people have told me how to feel and it was wrong. And here I am as a basket case at 37. Trying to figure out my way in life. And I don't want that for them. You're supposed to want to figure out your life and have it set by the time you're my age. You're supposed to go through all of this shit at their age whenever you're figuring things out. I want things to get better for everybody. And if that means that I have to lose people in order for that to happen, for myself and for other people, by all means. I'm just struggling to get better. It's a fight. It is a fight tooth and nail. And I know I've said that before, and I'm going to continue to say it because it has not stopped being true. And I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to break. I'm going to lose it. I'm going to have the negative thoughts, the intrusive thoughts, probably the rest of my life. But my goal is to have them less and less. That's what I aspire to be. I aspire to be better every day. Am I going to regress? Yes. But what am I going to do after that? Am I going to bounce back? Or am I going to get worse? Watch so many people in my life just get worse. Not do anything about it. I'm not going to be that guy. Then I hope you're not either. You guys take care of each other. But most importantly, and I really, really mean this today, take care of yourselves.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. If you like the show or know somebody who would, please subscribe and share to help us grow the show. You can follow us on all socials at That Infernal NPC. You can listen on YouTube and Podbean at That Infernal Noise or anywhere else you get your podcasts. Please tune in next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.